But there are many, many historical spots. In fact, the Muslims invaded India from here. And so the best known examples of architecture, temples that are 1,000 to 1,200 years old, would be found the furthest distance from the point of incursion. And so the advantage of visiting this coast, and you fly into Chennai, Madras, and you go south to Trichy, Mahabalipur, Rameshwaram, Kanyakumari, is that you will see the most incredible ancient temples in the world. Now there are some ancient temples and very noteworthy temples, Guruvaya and Trivandrum here, and great beaches. All the way from Bombay, all the way down to the tip of India. Great, great, fantastic beaches in Goa and Kerala. And this is Kerala, which not only has beaches, but it also has many, many wonderful, beautiful canals as well. Yes?
And so God's own country, is that what Kerala is?
Some people believe that Kerala is the original Garden of Eden that's described in the Bible. And this is me on one of the canal trips there. This is Kanyakumari. I don't know if there's any other place in the world where you can be in 3 oceans at one time. Just out from where she's standing there, there's the Bay of Bengal, the Indian Ocean, and the Arabian Sea. And that's, of course, at the southernmost tip of India. Now moving up here to Rajasthan, this is a desert and a mountain kingdom. There's desert, and then there's great citadels on the mountains. And it was from these citadels that the Rajasthanis used to resist the Mughal invasions. Of it, and everything's local. All the arches and columns are all created here in Utah. It opened 9 years ago in 2001. And this is the temple after which it's designed. This is called Kushum Sarovar. It's not exactly in Rajasthan, but just across the border. And it was built 500 years ago by a Rajasthani king named Man Singh. And it has a beautiful man-made lake. And when you arrive, yes?
Why did you choose to build in that style?
We just thought it was beautiful and comely. I mean, there are many other styles which are indigenous to India, but the one that just always has taken my breath away is the Rajasthani style. And of all the Rajasthani buildings that I've seen, this is the one that I've liked the most. And I don't think I'm alone in this. This is featured everywhere I turn. This is featured, even National Geographic featured this particular building at one time. If you visit there, there will be no monkeys visible when you originally arrive. However, as soon as you put your watch and your camera, your traveler's checks, and your clothes down, and you've swum out into the lake far enough that you can't get back in time, there's a chance that the monkeys will come roaring over from the jungles in the back, grab all your stuff, and jump up on one parapet. So what are you going to do? You're in a foreign country, right? You got no money, you got no clothes, probably. What do you do? Well, first thing you realize, the monkey has no, these are only items of barter for him, right? He only has your stuff to get the things that he considers valuable. And what would he consider valuable?
Bananas.
Papayas, mangoes, coconuts. And by coincidence, there happens to be a fruit seller on the road who will sell you all those items. There's only one problem.
You have no money.
You don't have any money. And he will be willing to take your IOU. And he'll give you some papayas and mangoes. And you offer those to the monkeys, and the monkeys will swap you. And you'll get your stuff back.
Smart monkeys.
So you might suspect that you've been a victim of one of those age-old scams, you know. For all we know, the fruit seller trained up the monkeys to do that very thing. But everyone wins. You know, the fruit seller gets some rupees for his family, the monkey gets something to eat, and you get your stuff back, and you've got a good story to tell when you come back to America. No harm, right? And these are just a few of the beautiful buildings that you find in Rajasthan. 5 out of 6 tourists to northern India fly to Delhi, go to Jaipur, the capital of Rajasthan.
Who is that?
That's Rana Pratap. He was one of the great freedom fighters against the Mughals. And that's his horse. His horse was very famous. Chetan. The horse carried him off the battlefield and died. They were both wounded, and the horse carried him to safety and took so many shortcuts and all in the way, and was so exhausted the horse died, but he saved his rider. When we went to Udaipur in 2001, this was the most expensive hotel in the world. It's called the Lake Palace. They filmed a James Bond movie here in the 70s. It cost $1,400 for the cheapest room, and of course you get there by ferry. And my friend and I from Aurum, Jai Krishna, we rented a room in town, a third-story room for 120 rupees, which is about $1.50. Double room. We had our own roof there. And when we looked out our window, we had a completely unobstructed view of the Lake Palace. We figured we had a better deal. Because in your $1,400 a night room in the Lake Palace, when you look out your window, all you see is our crummy little room in town. So we figured we had the best deal there. This is our own temple again. As long as we're talking about Rajasthan, we couldn't resist slipping that in there. Now here are the demographics. Most people in India are Hindus, 82%. There's about, let's see, 12% of Muslims who stayed after the Muslim invasion, made their home there. There are a few Christians, and they're basically in Kerala, Goa. And then there's some Sikhs. You've seen the people with the turbans. They're from Punjab. And in America and in Europe, they mostly run the restaurants. You know, all those restaurants in Salt Lake City, Star of India, India House, Delhi Palace, all pretty much run by Punjabis. Or if they're not Sikhs, they're at least from Punjab, yeah.
But Sikhs are Hindus, are they not?
They are. But sometimes for political purposes, they claim not to be. Because if they want Punjab to be a separate state, they'll say we're not Hindus. But actually they're Hindus. Their founder, Guru Nanak, was 100% Hindu, and he even chanted and danced with our preceptor, Lord Chaitanya. Now, other Indians who live in America, who are very prominent, come from the western state of Gujarat. And the Gujaratis, they have, for the most part, the last name of Patel, and they own 93% of locally franchised businesses which rhyme with their last name. Can anyone guess what those businesses might be?
Hotels?
Intel.
Yes, got it first time. People say Mattel, Intel, but these are locally franchised. They own 93% of all the budget and economy motels in America. So that means wherever you pay less than $60 a night, even if the person at the counter is a Westerner, still there's a 93% chance that that hotel is owned by a Gujarati named Patel. And there's a funny story about the business sense of the Patels. You want me to tell it? Okay. They wanted someone to go to the moon, and there was danger, there was a chance they might not return. So they went to an American, they said, how much would it take to pay you for you to go to the moon? And the American said, $50,000. They said, what would you do with the money? And the American said, I'd have a good time, I'd party, because there's a good chance I wouldn't come back. So they went to a Frenchman, they said, how much would we have to pay you to induce you to go to the moon? And the Frenchman said, $100,000. Well, what would you do with it? He said, I'd take $50,000, give it to my family, and $50,000, I would have a good time. Okay. So they went to a Gujarati, Patel, who were very, very sharp businessmen. They said, what would it take to get you to go to the moon? And they said, $150,000. What would you do with it? $50,000 I'd give to my family, $50,000 I'd party, and the other $50,000 I would pay the American to go. Indians in America, just look at that. You guys all read, you're probably speed readers. So these are some of the positions that they've risen to. CEO of United Airways, inventor of the Pentium chip, microsystem, executive director of Citibank.